Hey guys, so I've been doing some videos, watching my videos, and let's change the angle because I don't want to be talking down to you. That's not the point. If you're listening to my and watching my videos and you're on my page and you're liking and sharing and all that sort of stuff and you're part of the community, then you're in the circle, guys, and I believe in you and I know that you're going to be okay. I know that it's all going to be fine. And so when I talk and I get, passionate and I'm enthusiastic, it's not at you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just expressing how I feel about this because I think it's an amazing thing to think about and talk about. This inner engineering, this understanding who and what we are and how we're made up and why we're that way, and maybe if we can tinker with it, or even just leave it completely alone and just understand how it's there, and it's all unfolding for the best possible way that's probably beyond the personality's realm of understanding to an acceptance. If we can increase our observation, our awareness to a point where we can see why things are the way they are and not be so worried about them and fearful of them, and anticipate all this negative stuff, then maybe we can find our center in this whole thing. And at the moment, with the pandemic and everything that's going on and the economic rah, and businesses shutting down and all the fear and panic, that and toilet paper, and rice and pasta and all that stuff that goes with this, yeah, it's difficult, right? It's confronting. And for me personally, where it hits me the hardest is when I see my friends suffering. That really gets to me. And so when I'm talking at you and I'm telling you do this and just do that, it's not because I don't think you can't do it or that you're not smart enough. That's not it at all. I know you're smart enough. I know that what's in you is incredibly off the chart intelligent. I just don't want to see you buying into the fear and the bullshit, and I get it because I've been down those paths and I've been through those gauntlets and I've fallen in those wells and I've had to climb back out. And yes, okay, it's given me the skill set and made me into the person I am today. But some of the stuff is like, I think it's a bit unnecessary. I don't think you personally should have to go through that, especially if I know the map, And so I think we just all need to relax a little bit, not worry so much about the future because it's changing daily anyway. And, the people that are making all the decisions that are affecting us all are just working it out themselves. This is one of those new things that apparently it's never happened before. Well, never at this scale, that's before, and never in this packaging, and never with this mask. But there's definitely some elements in the cycle that have happened before, and every 100 years or so there's another kind of outbreak of some type of illness that grips the world and knocks off a lot of people and changes how the dynamics of everything, and fortunes are won and lost in this time and all that sort of stuff. But I think the main thing that's really happening at the moment is everybody is being forced to confront all those dark corners of the mind and those dark emotions and those dark memories. And, previously we've been so busy working and hustling and making money and paying bills and getting stuff and seeing this person and getting shit done and being here, there and everywhere and being all things to everyone and putting it all on our social media. And what a great life we all have, and amazing, and blah, blah, blah. But, when things get shaken up like this, and all that gets stripped away, and, like if you go to a spiritual retreat, or you're a monk in the monastery, and you reach, you've learned to meditate, and you know the scriptures, and you've had a bit of time talking to the other monks, there comes a point where you have to go to the hermitage, and you go up the mountain and you go into the cave, and they start putting the bricks up, until you're shut in basically, and there is absolutely no distraction, and the only thing there is to do is to go inside and to go inward and keep going inward, and to go so inward that you access the door. And when you access the door, you go beyond the door and you get access to it all. Okay. And so, yes, it's a scary time. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's not fun. Yes, it's uncomfortable. All that stuff. But if there's anything that I can convey that I've learned in my journey to get to here, to understand this, to talk about this to you, and I don't know everything, no, make no mistake, I'm not the guru, but this is just what I've found, is that when you can let go of who you think you are and how your world is supposed to be and how the world is supposed to treat you and all that sort of stuff, when you can go all the way back outside of that, go beyond that, it's kind of like you pop up out of not just your body and your personality, but of reality, of this reality. You pop into that no space, that void space. And it's kind of like, it's like if you were wearing VR, you'd pop out of the game, you'd take the glasses off, and then you would see that there's just a console there, and it's connected by a cord to a plug or whatever. That's where the metaphor ends. But you come out into this space that you realize there's a void that contains reality. It contains your personality. It contains everything. And somehow you're aware in that space. Okay, that's separated but not disconnected from who you think you are. And then something really interesting happens, is that you go, well, like Jim Carrey said in one of his interviews, he said, I played all these characters, and then I just started wondering, is Jim Carrey just a character too? And then something really profound happens. You get this space around you, social space. You get this space around you, and it's not a physical space. It's an emotional space. It's an energetic space. It's a space between space, between spaces, and it's like you get a clean slate. And not only do you get a clean slate, but you get all the experience of what it was like to have an identity and to have limitations and to have restrictions and to have rules imposed upon you. And then you go, well, that gave me a lot of contrast. Now I have a very clear understanding of who I want to be and who I want to lean towards. Maybe I don't have a complete picture, but I have a lot of data to tell me this is the direction I should go in, and this is the direction I really don't need to go in anymore. And so that's all well and good when you're thinking conceptually, or you're planning and da da da. But when it comes to an emotional, energetic level, it's like, instead of this here to there mentality, this linear, it's all encompassing. It's 360 degrees, and it's multi-dimensional. And it's like, how do you navigate all that? Well, it really comes down, what I think is, you have this emotional compass, right? And the better things feel, the better indicator it is to lean in that direction. And that becomes, how you draw yourself towards things, or propel yourself towards that direction. And it's this this fifth dimensional and beyond mindset. As the more you lean in, the more of that gets created. And so we understand that conceptually, and we're probably really good at that. And in order to really master that, you need to be thrust into a place that's, pretty difficult. This is like, it's like when we're rolling, you don't learn anything by just going up against inexperienced partners. Like the saying goes in Revolver, you only get smarter by playing a smarter opponent. You only get better by overcoming yourself and your reality. So this is an amazing opportunity if we can look at it that way. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, it's confronting. Yes, there's a lot of very sensitive things going on. People are losing their lives. Let's make no mistake. It's nothing to take lightly. But if we can navigate from here to a new world, a new reality, new identity, that is one that is better than what we were living previously, then I would say that would be a massive level up on a collective scale. The baseline of humanity would make a quantum leap once moving past this stage. And we are going to move past this stage. This isn't going to be, ongoing. It must change. And especially with every person observing all the little flaws and all the broken parts of our civilization, our existence, right down to a personal, energetic level. This is all the mere act of observing this is changing it. And so when you've got every person on the planet, or just about, observing all these problems, then it's amazing how quickly things get changed. I think part of why it hasn't happened already, and we're not already living in this new space, is because there were so many distractions. Everyone was so busy. Nobody had time. Nobody had enough money. Nobody had enough this. Nobody had enough that. People weren't working the jobs they wanted, so they were chasing new jobs. Everyone was chasing, running on the treadmill. Just the merry-go-round was getting fast and fast. Of course, how are you ever going to observe anything when everything's moving so bloody quickly? Okay? So we needed this time to back everything off, to slow down, to stop, to come to a complete stop, get off the treadmill and go, okay, we're pretty fast. Our endurance is pretty good. We can do a lot. Maybe there's a better way. Maybe there's an easier way to do this. Let's look into that. Let's see if there's more efficient ways to do this. Let's see if we can automate a few things. Let's see if we can let go of those things that aren't important anymore. Let's see if we can resurrect those dormant areas of genius that weren't getting enough attention because everything was too busy and it was not convenient. Now that we're confronted, maybe it's time to redirect those resources into areas that are going to benefit us right now and in the long term, not just for us, but for everybody. Okay, there's a lot of win-wins. There's a lot of opportunities that are going to pop up. You need to be in the right mindset to be able to see them and to act on them. Okay, so a few things that I do in order to make sure I'm ready for those moments is I cultivate a state of relaxation amongst stress. Calmness is a superpower. You've probably seen these posts, these memes come up. Being calm is a fucking superpower. If you can be calm while people are stressed, you're going to see the opportunity while they're too busy in their head worrying about what could go wrong and what might one day never happen. The other thing is to start looking around at where abundance is. Okay, people, I want abundance, and they're thinking money, but what about abundance in terms of the air that you're breathing? You know, they're talking about going to Mars. You need to breathe when you go to another planet. Here, we don't have to worry about any of that. It's taken care of. It's taken care for us. You know, I was speaking to a friend today, you know, who got hit really hard with all the shutdowns. And he said, you know, I'm just thinking it could be worse. You know, there's places in the world where they don't have running water. When I go to wash my hands so I can do my bit to keep this thing from spreading, I'm grateful that the water just flows when I turn the tap, you know. And I know it sounds corny, but when you really get into it, it's like, that's fucking profound. There is fresh water coming into your house. You don't have to go anywhere for that. You know, there is fresh air that you can breathe. You know, you're watching this on the internet. You have an abundance of information. You have every question and answer that you can think of, and ones you haven't even become aware of yet is already there for you to discover. You know, there's ways to innovate and to adapt that you haven't even touched on yet, that I haven't touched on yet, that nobody's touched on yet. You could be the person to discover that new pathway for everybody. Okay, so yeah, I know it's stressful. I think we're going to be okay. There's, like my friend who was telling you about the water, there's going to be a couple of weeks of pain, adjustment. You know, if you've ever worked an office job and they upgrade the computer system, oh my God, the first few weeks, a month is terrible because you can't find your files. Things don't work the way you expect them to do. You're complaining and blaming everything and everyone for you not being able to do your job properly. But then you adapt, you figure out, oh, you know, maybe I'm not asking the right question, or maybe I'm not telling them the machine what I actually want it to do the right way. I don't know. I have to figure all that out. And then you learn some things and you start to get better at what you do, and you start to get some competence in this new way of being. And then in not too long, in a very short period of time, you know, you start to normalize all these difficult things. And some things, you know, some things are not good. Some change is not good. Yes, I know how that feels. But some change is really good. Some change, when you finally get through, you go, fucking hell, why the hell was I doing it that way all this time? That was kind of stupid, you know. And we've all had that moment. We look back and go, you know, not done some things I'm not proud of. Wish I could erase those. Oh well, made me who I am. You know, it's how it is. Everyone goes through that. We're all going through it together. We're in this together, people. So just, you know, chill out. If you're struggling, reach out. You're not on your own. Remember, everyone's affected by this. Absolutely everyone. And, you know, If you're worried about finances, don't worry, everyone's affected by it. Okay. So even people, even people that have the money, they can't buy the services because the services don't exist right now, okay, until they can start up again. So in one way or another, everyone's affected. And so there's a massive amount of opportunity to be captured, to be in position to receive. And but if you're not in the right state, it's gonna go right past you. So be relaxed, open your mind, let go of how you think it should be and how it used to be. And that world's gone, man. It's over. I'm sorry. If it was a good one, I'm sorry, because it's over. If it was an okay one, well, that's over too. If it was an absolute shitty, terrible one, guess what? It's over. Okay, so it's time to move on. What are we going to make this now? Who are we going to be in all this? And, what's really important now? Now that we've had a taste of essential, non-essential, what's important? And don't worry about what anyone thinks anymore, because no one's checking your social media to see how wonderful your life is, because everyone's in their own heads at the moment, most people. So who are we going to be? Where are we going to take this? What's important now? When everyone's affected by the financial system, there's nothing to chase. If money wasn't part of the equation anymore, what are we going to do from here on in? How's that all going to look? Let's really think about this. Let's work this out. Let's spend the time that we have to sitting down to start really reevaluating things. And what do you want to learn that you put off? What hobbies, what skills would you really want to get into? What career path do you want now? What do you think is a great idea that didn't exist before that we probably should have now? There's lots of good questions to be answered. And now we've got the time, we've got the space, we've got the peace and quiet. Let's make the most of it.